Welcome to Odd Man Out, where we're back, and this week we are going to convince Harrison to play Dying Light.
What?
The following.
The following?
Or enhanced edition kind of thing.
Well, just Dying Light in general.
Yeah. So, just to get introductions out of the way, I'm Faust.
And I'm JackTheRipoff.
And I'm Harrison.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why we're going to be killing lights.
No, we're not killing lights.
No.
It's already dying.
Oh, it's already dying. Okay.
Yes.
This sounds like an RPG.
It has
the elements of an RPG game.
You could go with action RPG.
Yeah, pretty much. So
definitely.
basically, Dying Light is, as there may already be a few of them out already, it's a zombie survival type game.
Oh, it's one of these.
But this one actually implements a lot of mechanics that you don't normally see with zombie survival games. This one...
You mean this one's good?
Yes,
It actually is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because not only is it just, it's not just mindlessly killing zombies. This one actually has a story behind it. So, you play as a special agent who goes by the name of Kyle Crane. He has to go into this country known as Hassan, which in the game is shown to be kind of like a Middle Eastern type place.
This is an old Marvel writer, apparently, because, I mean, Kyle Crane, Peter Parker, Okay.
But, so, Kyle Crane is a special agent who works for the GRE, which is the Global, Global Recovery,
So, Global Recovery.
Well, while he fact checks that, I will point out, most people, when you say zombie action RPG, will probably think Dead Island.
Yeah, or not even Dead Island.
Left 4 Dead.
No, what's the one where you're in the mall?
Oh, Dead Rising?
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yeah.
That one's more of a almost comedy-based zombie kill. Okay, so...
Are you saying that RPGs can't be funny?
Oh, they can be.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so... You are Kyle Crane, who's meant to infiltrate a city called Harran, which is shown to be, it seems to be more like a Middle Eastern style city, which was...
This sounds like a Call of Duty game.
Not really, not at all.
There's barely any cover and there's barely any shooting. In fact, shooting is bad.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot. But, so Harran was infested with this viral outbreak that actually ended up turning a majority of the population into these, ferocious, hyper-aggressive zombies, essentially.
Are we talking about Dying Light or Metal Gear Survive right now?
Dying Light.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's really checked out Metal Gear Survive, I think.
No one likes Metal Gear Survive, that's why.
Like, it's already kind of like set in stone. Nobody likes Metal Gear Survive.
But basically, you're supposed to get into Harran to find the stolen files from the GRE that actually contain information about ways to eradicate the virus that has taken over Harran. As you go in there...
Sounds Metal Gear.
It's not.
It's not. There's barely any
Let us
stealth.
talk, Harrison.
Yeah. No, this is what he does. There's barely any stealth mechanic to it. In fact, the major mechanic of the game is the eponymous Dying Light, in that the game does have a day-night cycle.
Why are we back to killing light or light dying?
That's because the light dies when the night comes on. The zombies become way more aggressive.
And actually, there's special types of mutated zombies that can only come out at night because the daylight actually affects them. But nighttime comes, like they're
Somebody watched too much From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, continue on with the story of it. You actually come across this group of survivors, and you actually find out that these survivors make their way through the city, avoiding the zombies and everything by through parkour. Actually, one of the biggest mechanics.
What?
Just wait. One of the biggest mechanics about it is actually being able to get through the city in as little of time as possible using, the
This
skills
is Mirror's
parkour.
Edge Zombie Edition. Oh my god.
Except in Mirror's Edge, if you fall off a building, you just die instantly.
Yeah.
Here you just get you're still dying.
You fall into a pile of zombies. There is a, statistical percentage chance that you will probably get out and get back up on the building.
They made a parkour zombie game. What the hell? Okay, fine. Why have the Metal Gear survivors parkouring through the city? Please tell me.
Because the leader of this group of survivors was actually a parkour teacher before the outbreak, and he was actually traveling around the world.
What?
In order to help, to teach people, parkour. Like, basically, he was one of those guys who wanted to travel around the world and, show people, new and interesting ways to be active. And so he actually ended up being in Harran when the outbreak happened, trapping him in the city. And so in order to help other people survive, he would teach them ways to get away from the zombies through the use of parkour.
This is hurting my head. You've played this game, Faust.
Yeah.
Why would I want to play Parkour the zombie game?
Because the story behind it. It had enough of a
Faust.
It had enough of a storyline to it that someone actually made a pre-sequel novel.
Okay.
To this game.
So it has a story can be fine, but the problem is if you have something that just kills story, then there's no point in playing it. Do you have any good reason for playing this, Faust?
Yes, it is extremely fun.
It's extremely fun.
It's also challenging.
I got into zombie survival games like this because I got a copy of Dead Island for cheap.
Okay.
Right? Dead Island kind of impressed me, but it felt very grindy, and there were some really dumb designs to the story and side quests that just made no sense. That's Dead Island.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So the team that made Dead Island ended up losing, they ended up switching off of Dead Island, and some new team made the second game. Dead Island Rising or whatever.
What does this have to do with parkour zombies?
Let me get to that. So the team that left the original Dead Island became Techland, who are the developers of Dying Light.
Yep. They wanted to create something that, it would take an old genre and develop into something new, interesting, and challenging. So because when you compare it to Dying Light to Mirror's Edge, like you said, it's actually the mechanics of it make it intentionally more challenging with the parkour feature. Because in Mirror's Edge, it blatantly shows you, hey, jump here. Hey, climb up this. Hey, that's red. Go there. This one, you have to be able to react to your immediate environment to know where you need to go, when to jump, when to climb a building. Because
it's fully willing to let you break your ankles.
Oh, yeah. It will let you fall on your face with no remorse.
Oh, great. So we're going to put together a crappy system of moving through a level. And
did I say it was crappy?
And we're going to...
They made it one of the most fluid mechanics in a parkour-style game.
Where Mirror's Edge was designed sort of like this run-down-a-hall parkour structure.
Okay.
Where the game is designed around entirely the parkour structure. That is all you really have to do in that game.
It gives you a set path.
Yeah. And all you have to do is just follow their path. In Dying Light, you have this kind of an open-world city of Harran that you can plot your own path through. And while there are some places that are kind of set up like playground courses where you can sort of practice your parkour skills and things like that.
For the most part, it's to choose, make your own path, make your own way. Say you have a time limit to get to a certain goal. It's up to you to
it's actually
get there
really
as
fun
quick as you can.
Yeah. So this is Assassin's Creed Zombie Edition.
Well,
because Assassin's Creed is parkour.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It could be. It's one button parkour, but yes,
Yeah.
Just hold down the parkour button and keep running.
Basically.
Hey. Later versions have a couple different buttons you have to push to.
Oh, you have to push two buttons.
They're up to two now.
They're up to two. Okay.
Oof.
So
who knows? Maybe the next edition of it, they'll come up with 3 buttons.
And then where the RPG elements come through is in the weapon crafting system and unlockable abilities on your character, which just basically give you more combat ability.
Oh, good. So it's not like upgrading your sneakers.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you can upgrade your weapons. And it actually kind of highlights, the use of melee weapons as opposed to rifles and pistols, mainly because it's one of those you start firing weapons, you're attracting more and more zombies to you. And the whole goal of it is to get in and out of the city as quickly and as safely as possible.
Yeah.
This is contradictory to like all zombie games that I'm used to playing, where it is find the biggest weapon and start shooting.
And just wade through piles and piles and piles of zombies.
Their goal for this was to make it more realistic, in the sense of if something like this were to happen, and no one's just going to go out there and get like the biggest gun, just die, zombies, because odds are they're probably going to die immediately.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because that's my plan. I got a big truck and I got a gun rack, and I'm going to go, plow through all those zombies.
So
just like Dead Rising.
And then when you hit enough zombies and your truck can't go anymore, and then you run out of bullets.
Yeah, that's what happens in Dead Rising.
Okay, fine. Maybe there's a point for there to be a different mechanic.
Dead Rising, you had Frank West, who is this like tank of a man who's able to wade through zombies and drink nothing but orange juice for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he happens to encounter some of the dumbest survivors you have ever met.
Yep.
Like that's Dead Rising in a nutshell.
Okay.
And it's like he's the superhuman news photographer.
Yeah, he covered wars,
Yeah. And you can't get it by describing Frank West without just saying he has some sort of superhuman ability to shrug off bites after bites after bites after bites after damage after crazy person and get away with it. In Dying Light, they say, what is the more reasonable, best equipped person to make it through a zombie apocalypse scenario?
It focuses on the less is more aspect.
Yeah.
Like, it focuses on making sure that you have the right gear rather than a plethora of gear. Stuff that will weigh you down.
And even then they emphasize that having the right gear will not get you out of a massively bad situation.
Yep.
That they don't really say go out and fight zombies.
It's go out and survive.
It's like go out and survive, pick your battles, make sure you win those battles, and that makes you even better for the next run.
Because it's not just the zombies at this point. There are factions within Harran that are trying to control what few survivors are out there. And there's actually one specific guy whose name is...
This sounds like such a goofy game.
It is, but it's insanely fun.
So there's this main guy named Rise, R-A-I-S. I don't know. It's like Rise or something like that. He's like the main bad guy. So think Walking Dead Negan, but in a Middle Eastern city.
I don't watch Walking Dead.
Well, for those of you who
Negan
do,
is a really, really bad guy.
Yeah, he controls people through fear, and that's exactly what Rise does in this game. And so basically, the whole point of this is to actually, he's the one that has like the files that the GRE are looking for. What your character doesn't know is that Rise already secretly had a deal with the GRE that once,
spoiler alert, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Once, he handed over the, information, the files, they were just going to kill the agent, and then Rise was just going to get out there home free. But when you find that out, you end up, your mission changes. Like, you decide, like, okay, the GRE is trying to screw me over. So I'm going to fix this the way, is the human way to do it. The one that, the morally correct path.
Is there really any morally correct path in a zombie outbreak, though?
In this one, yes, there is.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, this one is to try and find a cure if one such exists, and B, to make sure that there are not that there are some. It's trying to disarm some dangerous elements within Harran, without having to glass the whole thing. So it is trying to preserve the lives of the survivors, and try to see if we could actually save more lives beyond that.
Yep.
Okay. So is there multiplayer in this?
Yes, there is. Yeah. Actually, and I find it interesting how the multiplayer works, because it's not like lobbies. You don't get into a lobby and then get into the game. What it actually does is that you can either set it to where you join in with a friend or join in with a random player. And basically what you do is that...
This is Assassin's Creed Unity now. Okay, does this mechanic actually work?
Yes, it works very well. I've had plenty of times where I would have it open so that random people can join my game. And then I would have 2 or 3 other people join in. We're all just, going out there, completing the missions, killing zombies. And it is a lot of fun.
You kill zombies in the multiplayer, but you parkour avoid in the single player?
Well, yeah, because at that point you have numbers on your side.
The more people you have, the better equipped you are to actually
go out, and if you want to kill some zombies, you can go and do that.
Okay, so the multiplayer actually sounds kind of fun, because parkour zombie killing versus Mirror's Edge zombie avoidance.
Yeah, any game like this is going to be more fun with one other person Or at least one other person there to like help you knock some skulls around.
And as the story progresses, there will be moments that, sometimes you can't escape the zombies. You have to stand and fight.
Okay.
So it adds a element of like I have to fight or I will die. I can't try and run right now because there's nowhere I can go.
Okay.
So
this game, when was it released?
It was released January 27th of 2015.
And it has an enhanced HD version that was released in late February 2016.
Yep.
So how much is this game? Because the enhanced edition is now a year old.
Yes.
The game is available typically it's still $60. It's still
Jesus.
retail cost, but it is available right now at GOG.com for half price, $30.
That's still pretty pricey for being a
It
year
is,
out.
but there's a reason it's still as expensive as it is because people are still
playing it.
They're still buying it.
And keep in mind, this is the enhanced edition, which is so it's got the base game. It has the expansion, which is known as The Following, which is even more story to it, and then it has several DLC bundles as well, including being able to play as a zombie in multiplayer.
Actually, I have that. So there's a multiplayer version. Now, this one is a bit of a lobby because it has to be like. It's kind of like a 3 or 4 against 1 because if you play the 1, you're like this super like you're a mutated zombie is what you're. You're known as a hunter.
It's Evolve.
It's better than Evolve.
You keep on trying to like pull this one game or another out there. There is not a single game that you have mentioned that actually encapsulates all of the things that we have just told you.
No, they just took all these other games and put them into a box and shot out, Dying Light. With zombies.
I doubt I would really say that this game is really shat out. You're being dismissive just because you haven't played it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, I haven't played it. And it sounds like a lot of other games out there. The story...
well then take this. They take a good aspect of other games, of multiple different games, and put it together into one great game. They take all the good aspects of different game mechanics, and they make it into... this new type of survival game.
Yeah, but even then, the argument there is that it's kind of like this mechanic, but not really. It's kind of like this, but not really. Like even going back to the parkour thing, it's like Mirror's Edge in that you parkour.
But
Full stop.
That
is the only way it is like that. Is that you are parkouring. You parkour differently with different controls. You move differently through the city itself.
You also have to deal with stamina, because if you sprint for too long, you will tire out in Dying Light, whereas Mirror's Edge, apparently you can run forever.
You can run forever. You have a wide open path that you can choose to your liking, to your comfort level through the entire place, back and forth through rooftops, playing floor is lava if you want.
Yep.
The combat ability, I don't really think that it's like anything else other than what the developers came from in the Dead Island series, where it is a bunch of melee weapons that you upgrade, but they've actually really fleshed out the upgrade system and made it so that these weapons do get better as you upgrade them.
And they have to as well, because as you play the game, you come across new and different types of mutated zombies that take a lot more to kill. They hit a lot harder. And you got to be able to have that upgraded weaponry to be able to take them out.
I think this is a game that's going to make me break my keyboard if I'm, inadvertently failing to zombies all the time because I jump wrong or,
The game is set up so that it really does
It will punish you for doing stupid mistakes.
But it won't hold your hand, but it will ease you into the idea of what zombies are, what your mobility is, what your capability is, and how it improves.
Yeah, it's not going to immediately throw you in the deep end and go, okay, swim.
Yeah.
You go through a segment where you go through a tutorial of how the parkour mechanics work and everything, and then once you actually get out there into the actual city, it will gradually kind of bring in more and more zombies for you, rather than just all of a sudden just a horde comes after you.
Yeah, it even specifies that there's a specific quest that highlights the changing of day to night and what that means.
Yep.
Tougher zombies, more zombies,
faster
zombies. That are zombies that are capable of climbing, so it's not like you can just climb on something tall and survive the night.
Yeah, you actually have to get to a safe zone because the city itself actually has safe zones scattered about.
Mm-hmm. And this is not horror; this is more thriller.
Yeah, it calls itself a horror, but honestly, it's more of a
American horror versus psychological horror or something like that. It's a zombie horror game.
Yeah.
Basically, there are zombies. There's a lot
more of an action adventure thriller type rather than a horror.
Yeah, there's a lot of body horror. There's a lot of like suspense and intrigue when it comes to that kind of thing. But I'd put it more in like thriller. I mean, yeah, you'll probably get scared about the zombies in the dark, the night zombies.
That gets pretty tense at times because the special infected that can only come out at night. Those are some creepy. First off, they look horrifying. They're all disfigured, like just horrid looking zombies.
So I may check this out. Okay, I don't know when, but definitely not at $60, and I'm not going to go buy on GOG for $30. You know,
that's fine. I'll bring my copy over.
Maybe at some point if it ends up going on sale on Steam. But
well, you could probably find it for cheaper on the console. So it is available on Windows and Linux through these GOG and Steam and the like. You can probably go look anywhere and find it,
as well as the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yeah,
and with the HD release for like the One S. And
it looks really nice. Yeah, it looks really nice. It runs really smooth. It's a very fun game. A little bit older, but worth your attention. Definitely.
If it's worth attention, I've never heard this has gone underneath my radar. I don't know if I'm going to check it out, but
I can always bring my copy of it so you can try out the original release.
So is this a maybe yes or a maybe no?
Maybe no, but bring yours over. We can find out.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So that was Odd Man Out for this week. Of course, I'm Faust. This is
JackTheRipoff
and
Harrison.
And this week we convinced Harrison to maybe yes play Dying Light the following. So yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow, upvote, rate, review, all of that other stuff, and we will see you guys next week.
Later.
Yeah.
The thing I have to point out is that there's a quote from Carmack that I'm going to completely butcher here, and it said, "Story in a video game is a lot like story in a sport video." Like it doesn't really have to be there, but you can.